Sure, Total War is here, and today we are going to dive into the Empire roster, and we are gonna organize it as a tier list. So, to get started, we do have Empire Spearmen, which are objectively a B tier. They do not excel at anything, however, they can hold the line if your general is leveled properly and if you're not facing too much ranged units. Empire Spearmen with shields. They are a unit that carries the campaigns. They do have way higher melee defense than their predecessor without the shield. They are recruited from the building that you will get eventually anyway, and they do not cost way more than the Empire Spearmen. However, they do get shields, so the shield is obviously gonna deflect some missile fire that is coming your way. And generally, with the full 9 levels of veterancy and the bonuses from your general, they can have around 70 melee defense, which is huge for the Empire. And their special variants also go to carries the campaigns, especially the not Regiment of Renown, but the Elector Count State Troop. So they do have a morale boost to your entire front line. So they do have encourage, so they can prevent all other units around it from retreating. Alright, now we go for the Empire Swordsmen. The Empire Swordsmen are trash. All of them. So, only unit in here that I wouldn't call trash, maybe only because you can recruit them on the move. So, for those, you have to wait one turn, right? And they are absolutely terrible. They do not fulfill any role. They cost more than Spearmen, and they will usually break faster than Spearmen because Empire is facing a lot of large units pretty fast. And those, you can recruit them in the same turn before you attack someone. So you can get some extra units, and I would usually just advise to disband them afterward. Empire Halabardiers. They are situational, but I would suggest getting them whenever you can for whichever army composition you have. However, you have to have that in mind that if you are going against a faction that has a lot of ranged units, Spearmen will behave way better. Spearmen with shields will behave way better. So, Flagellants. They are a unit that I have mixed feelings about. They could be buffed quite a lot. However, they will die quite quickly, so I do not tend to recruit them ever in my campaigns. They are a-okay unit. They are alright in Volkmar's army, but I would recommend just not getting them if you are not min-maxing towards using them. And then we have the Great Swords, and they are B tier, both variants. Don't get me wrong, they are okay unit. They can dish out quite a lot of damage. However, in the Empire's faction, considering what threats you are facing early on and later on, so the Great Swords are a unit that is supposed to kill the infantry quite fast and quite well. They are doing that. However, there are better tools for the Empire to do just that, and often for quite less of a cost. So, archers. Archers are alright, they are nothing special. Their Regiment of Renown version has Stalk and Snipe. So I would generally put it in here on the normal tier list if it was A tier, but it's a tier that says it carries the campaign, and one unit is not gonna carry the campaign because it's a Regiment of Renown. And then we do have the crossbowmen. Crossbowmen are absolutely amazing. They have armor piercing, they are not too expensive. They can shoot over your troops. You do not have to use any special formations. They are amazing. Huntsmen, they are okay. I don't tend to use them. They are a bit more expensive than the crossbowmen. They do have quite good range, quite good damage, but I don't tend to use them. The militia, I don't use them in general, overall. They are quite alright. They do behave kind of like a way weaker version of the Slayer Pirates. And I would recommend not getting them if you can get anything else. They are actually better than those swordsmen, but I would recommend not getting them if you can get anything else. So the next one is the handgunners, and here is gonna be a bit of controversy because I do not like handgunners for one single reason. The handgunners have a high unit count, which is 90, which takes quite a lot of time to reposition if you want to play like I do with high intense micro. So yeah, in general, they could deliver quite a lot of value, but they are not suited for the high micro playstyle. And I will place the Nuln Ironsides to the carries the campaigns tier because they are better than the gunners. Only because they can reposition faster and they can fire faster because of that. And those that have seen my campaigns, they will know what I'm talking about right now. I do rotate my units quite frequently, and the Empire Gunners just don't do that as fast, and they are quite wonky at firing sometimes. Amethyst Gunners, exclusive to Nuln. They are goated, they are amazing, and they are insanely powerful. And then we have Hochland Long Rifles. So Hochland Long Rifles, they are a unit that carries the campaigns. It cannot be formed into a Doomstack by itself, but it carries the campaigns. So the Amethyst Null Ironsides, they can absolutely be used by themselves in a army of their own. The Regiment of Renown long rifles, they are good. They are good, but they are not carrying the campaign. And oh yeah, also this unit has to go here because we can only have one. We can only have one, and it goes somewhere here. Alright, after that we do have Pistoliers, and they are alright. They are heavy on micro. They are extremely heavy on micro. If you're gonna be using them on skirmish mode, you're gonna suffer because the skirmish mode in Total War Warhammer 3 is absolutely terrible. It's terrible, so you have to micro your skirmishers yourself. So the same goes for this variant of the unit. Outriders. S tier, goated unit. I do have battles at which I have armies of Outriders and I just escape ambush and wipe the ambushers. Same goes for the grenade launchers, which are the damage dealers for the mass, while Outriders are the snipers of the large entities. And Amethyst Outriders with grenade launchers also are a goated unit. but all those 5 units require quite heavy micro, so use at your own peril. Then we do have the Empire Knights. I do not like using them. They are underwhelming, they do not perform too well, their charge bonus is comparable to melee cavalry that we'll talk about later on. However, they do require stables building, which I don't like to build in my campaigns at all, so I'm putting them at You Have Sinned. Because I will never build the stables unless I have to, for some reason. I cannot imagine why would I have to. But generally, I do get stables from confederating with other factions. Then we do have all the variants of the knights. So the Knights of Everlasting Light, they do have quite good debuff on them because they lower the melee attack of all the units around them by -8. It's quite good. They do not have any considerably good stats, but it's something that differentiates them from the regular Empire Knights is that they debuff the enemy so they can be useful. They can be useful. Then we have Knights of More, which also do have their special ability, which debuffs the morale of your enemies. So yeah, they boost terror and they are better than the regular knights. Also, you don't have to build any buildings to recruit them. You only have to control the electoral seat. Then we have Stubborn Bulls. And this is a unit that I'm not sure where to put because it has quite alright stats. And in theory, it could behave like a shock version of the Knights of the Black Rose because they do have super good melee attack and they have super good weapon strength because they do have weapon strength of 52 and the melee attack of 32 with their charge bonus. So right after charge they will be having 64 melee attack with around 80 weapon strength. So if you want to cycle charge them, there is definitely some value to be taken out of them. Then we do have the Empire's the heaviest hitter, the Knights of the Blazing Sun. The Knights of the Blazing Sun are super good at charging. They do have the charge bonus of 78. They do have decent melee attack, so with the charge bonus and melee attack, they will basically land all their hits straight after charging into the fight. And they do have quite good melee weapon strength of 42. They also do flaming attacks, and with the special building of Blazing Knight Chapter House, you will get the weakness to fire for the units that they are fighting with, so they will be dealing even more damage thanks to that. After that, we do have Reiksguard, and Reiksguard can be used as carrying the campaign unit because they do have devastating flanker. If you have micro to pull it off, you can absolutely abuse Reiksguard. Just get 4 units of it into your standard army. So let's say you have a captain, you have a general, you have a wizard, and then you get 6 to 8 units of spears, 6 to 8 units of ranged units, 2 units to 4 units of artillery, and up to 4 units of the Reiksguard. And they will absolutely shred your opponents. And then we do have my favorite unit of cavalry, which is Knights of the Black Rose. and they require absolutely no micro, and they kind of work like the Roman cavalry from Total War Arena. So basically, you charge them into the fight, and then they hold the line. So they are kind of like a elite infantry that can move a speed of a horse. And I do tend to get like 4 units of the Knights of the Black Rose to hold the front line. And also they get the special building in Nuln that prevents them from losing any models until they are having less than 50% of health, which can be kind of abused along with Life Wizard that will just replenish their HP. They have extremely decent stats of 50 melee defense, and then they can be buffed with the Cavalry 3 to get more melee attack, more charge bonus, which will put them into really well performing tier. And while combined with ironsides or long rifles, they will absolutely shred enemy armies. So yeah, I love the Knights of the Black Rose. And then this is gonna be controversial. I dislike the Demigryph Knights, all their variants, because they kind of suffer from getting way more damage than they should be getting. So they are not exactly a hold the line unit as they kind of should be. They are not cavalry in a sense of a cavalry. They are more like a monstrous entity, and they do take more damage than they should be getting. Since I do not build stables in general, and I can only get this unit if I confederate someone who had stables, then yeah, I don't tend to recruit them. You can get a good value out of them. However, they will often suffer from being shot at extensively, or just they will get slowed down by enemy forces and you won't be able to take them out of the engagement. So there you have it. Then we do have the Imperial steam tanks. So the Wrath of the Emperor. So it's a unit that you can recruit from the Elector Count roster. Absolute goat. I love it. I use it extensively. Only because in most of my campaigns, I do not get to see those two units. I just don't get to see them because I finish my campaigns way before I even have ability to recruit those two. Then we do have the Amethyst ships, which are carrying the campaigns, and then we have normal land ships, which are quite good if put into the army. However, I wouldn't be putting them into carrying the campaigns because usually before I can recruit them, my campaign is already over. So I only get the Regiment of Renown version of the unit that is sticking with an army. So there it is. Then we do have Luminarchs. They are B tier. They do perform quite well in the Empire's army. They are quite good at what they are doing. And their job is basically sniping high value targets or just unleashing on the frontline infantry. They will also do a great job at that. And then this is something that is gonna be even more controversial. So since I like my Outriders armies, and it's something that is sticking with me since Empire Total War, because I enjoyed playing Poland on legendary difficulty, on the highest difficulty there was. And recruiting a full Dragoon army in Total War Empire was just allowing you that extra momentum to fight on whatever front you have to. So the Dragoon army was OP. So the Hellblasters and Mortars are goat tier only because they can be parried with the Outriders, and the Outriders, thanks to them, will have that ability to destroy the walls and to besiege settlements properly. And the War Wagons, you have sent, mate. Like, don't get this unit; they are terrible. Just don't. And after that, we go into the artillery. And to get it started, we do have a mortar. Mortar is amazing. I wouldn't say it carries the campaigns. It got nerfed quite a bit in Warhammer 3. It used to be way more accurate in Warhammer 2 and Warhammer 1. So it's B tier, and its upgraded version, if it was A tier, not carries the campaigns, I would put it here, but I'm gonna put it here. So the special ability of this mortar is it does not deal friendly fire. It's an amazing ability to have for your artillery, but you cannot really get a lot of this unit, so it's in B tier. Then we do have Hellblasters. Hellblasters are absolutely amazing at killing large entities, and they do quite well fighting with normal infantry. And then we have Hellstorm rocket batteries, and they are absolutely goated. There are army compositions at which you can bring the Hellstorm rockets against, and they will just shred them without any front need for any front line. They are amazing. So if you're fighting a horde faction that has a lot of infantry units and not much in terms of mobility, the Hellstorm rockets are absolute goats. Then we have the Imperial cannons, and they are B tier. They can be useful, they are alright. I don't tend to get too much of them because I usually get my initial mortars and then I use the mortars until I can exchange them for something like Hellblasters or the Hellstorm rockets. Then we do have heroes and legendary lords and legendary heroes. So the Empire Captain. The Empire Captain is a B tier. He can boost your troops quite a bit. He is not necessary in your army, but he can be really useful, especially if you give them a Pegasus and they have discipline trait which gives +2/+2 for melee stats. Then we do have Theodor Brackner, and he carries the campaigns. He is a good hero to have. He can duel some of the other heroes, maybe not legendary heroes. I do not see him dueling Vlad, or I do not see him winning with Vlad, but I would absolutely see him out dueling White Knights or some Champions of Chaos. Then we do have a Volkmar the Grim. Volkmar the Grim, he is not necessary in most campaigns. He buffs quite niche units, I would say, and for the most playthroughs you will not even see him exist because most people play the Emperor Karl Franz, or they play Elspeth, or they play Gelt, and for the most part you will not see Volkmar, that he even exists. Then Wolfheart. He suffers from similar problem as Volkmar does. However, if you ever get Wolfheart into your roster, he buffs hunters, huntsmen extremely well, and you can doomstack them with him. So yeah, Wolfheart is good. And then we do have Emperor. So obviously he carries the campaign. Uh, Especially if you're playing as him. If you're not playing as him, he is not as useful because it's mostly his special mechanics that are in play in here. So I would advise to get him as soon as you can. If you're playing any other legendary lord, he will boost you on the campaign map. He is not exactly a master commander, but he will help you on the campaign map. Balthazar Gelt. Gelt is amazing. He can make a doom stack of wizards. And yeah, he is an amazing spellcaster as well. His armies do get flat armor bonus. He is the GOAT. And same goes for Elspeth, and she is actually the best legendary lord for the Empire, especially along with her Nuln Ironsides and generally the Amethyst units. She will just carry and is unstoppable, is pretty much unstoppable. Because the way that she can just boost her troops beyond any reason. Then we do have generic Empire generals, and we will rank them as following. Archlector, terrible. Empire General, he is niche. I would advise against getting him. The Master Huntsman is alright. And then the Master Engineer. Master Engineer is absolutely amazing. He can easily get around 300 kills, even in his level 1 just recruited form on the beginning of the campaign because of his grenade launcher. And then he can be upgraded into being a tank. So yeah, he is absolutely great. Then we do have heroes from Wolfheart, and they are alright. They are alright, but they are not super amazing. Then we do have engineers, and they carry campaigns. They definitely carry campaigns. Then we have the Witch Hunter. Witch Hunter is not really great. I wouldn't say they are great. Then we do have Warrior Priests. They are alright. They can give aura buffs to the frontline units. And nothing beside that. I would have them stay away from fighting enemy heroes, but they can go into the melee with the infantry of the enemy, or they could go against ranged units. Then we do have wizards, and they are all quite alright. So none of them will go below B tier. However, there are a few of them that will go to carries the campaign tier. So for the most Empire campaigns, Flame Wizard. Flame Wizard is the best wizard you can get at the beginning of the campaign because Empire is facing horde factions at the very beginning. You are facing vampires, you're facing orcs, you are facing warriors of chaos. So the Flame Wizard, the Metal Wizard, and the Shadow Wizard and the Death Wizard are the wizards that you want to have, because their spells work in a way that they can target quite a lot of enemies at once, especially the Flame Wizard and then the Shadow Wizard, because they have moving spells. So the Death Wizard, they do have moving spells, but it moves randomly, so they are a bit lower than the other wizards. And the Metal Wizard has quite a lot of armor penetration, so it's good versus the Warriors of Chaos. Then we do have Amber Wizard. He is quite alright, especially later because he is riding a Gryph, and that Gryph can be quite useful in various situations. So it could be theoretically carrying the campaigns, but in order to do that, he would have to be combined with a Life Wizard. And yeah, since he is not combined with the Life Wizard straight away, he is B tier. And then we have a Celestial Wizard. I don't like, Light Wizard. I don't like Light Wizards. They don't really have strong combat spells. They mostly buff units, and the Empire doesn't really revolve around buffing your units. You kind of prefer to just wipe the units out of the face of the earth. And then Celestial Wizard, he's alright. The Comet of Cassandra is a powerful spell that can wipe a lot of troops, but you have to blob them up in one place. And then we do have a factions, and factions are as follow. Nuln is goated. Empire is B tier. Hans Marshall is C tier. His faction is kind of hard to play. Then Volkmar is C tier. I also do not enjoy playing Volkmar. And Geld then is goated. Alright, lads. This would sum it up. If you have any questions about any specific units, drop a comment and I will answer that. And do consider subscribing.